We just finished a very important discussion regarding the relocation proposal by the Raiders, which our owners approved overwhelmingly.
All right. That was the moment. You saw Commissioner Roger Goodell there. Here's a look at the numbers and how it shook out yesterday. The Raiders moving to Las Vegas. 31 team owners said yes. One said no. Only Miami said no. Vegas politicians still have to raise $750 million in public money, which is a no-brainer in Las Vegas. The stadium, the proposed stadium, almost $2 billion will be built in Las Vegas. $550 million from the Raiders and the NFL. The remaining money comes from Bank of America. The relocation fee for Mark Davis and his team, about $300 to $350 million. The Raiders will continue playing in Oakland. Here's the little catch. For a couple of years until the stadium is completed in Vegas in 2020. So let's talk about this Raiders move with Director of Sports Law and Policy at the Thomas Jefferson School of Law, Jeremy Evans. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I want to talk about the business of the NFL.
Sure.
Does the business of the NFL care about the fans?
I think they do, and actually I think the move to the NFL shows that they care about the fans. Las Vegas is a market that had 42 million visitors in 2016. 600,000 population in terms of potential fans compared to Oakland at 400,000. They definitely care about the fans. Maybe not the fans in Oakland, but they care about the fans in Las Vegas. And the fact that there's no team between Las Vegas and Oakland, that's a huge area to potentially keep the fans in Oakland when they move to Las Vegas.
And you don't see it as a downside to relocate three teams, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Rams, uproot them out of their home markets. In the Rams case, it was like 20 years in St. Louis. Here, of course, 50-plus years in San Diego. You don't think that's a downside?
Well, I think it's a downside obviously for the fans in St. Louis, the fans in San Diego, the fans in Oakland. But I think at the end of the day, the NFL, it's about money. It's about television dollars. It's about revenue. And there's a lot of revenue to be had in Las Vegas. And so it's simply a bottom-line decision.
All right. So then it's not about the fans.
It's about the fans in Vegas. But
okay,
it's not about the fans.
Just qualify which fans they care about. So clearly, some are more important than others.
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the fans in Las Vegas, because I used to live in Las Vegas. I know the business there. I know how it works. And this really, Raiders to Vegas, is, I kind of think, a no-brainer.
I completely agree with you. Tourism dollars, as I said, 42 million people visited there last year. The entertainment capital of the world, maybe outside of Hollywood. This is a perfect move for the NFL. Again, sad for Oakland fans.
Right.
But I still think the Oakland fans, it's not like they're moving to a competitive territory. If they move to San Diego, it's like when the San Diego Chargers moved to L.A., that's a competition city. Padres versus Dodgers, that sort of thing. Moving to Vegas, there's no competition there. So the fans, I still think, will probably follow them. And who doesn't want to go to Vegas for a weekend?
Right. It makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk about the weird, awkward couple of years while they're still in Oakland, but everybody knows they're moving to Vegas. As a business, if you could get into Mark Davis's head for a second and advise him on how to run a campaign to keep people in Oakland going to the games, knowing that they're, 1 foot out the door, how would you do that?
Well, I think from the owner's standpoint, you really have to look at it from how can you connect the Oakland fans to Las Vegas? How can you make it seem like this is a good move for the fans and the franchise? That may be tough initially, but the funny thing is the Oakland Stadium is already one of the worst stadiums in the NFL.
Right.
So the reality of it is it may be a tough couple years, and it may be a tough sell, but I think at the end of the day, fans will probably follow them to Vegas.
I know. I think one of the pieces of that is to get your players on board. And this morning, the quarterback, Derek Carr, put out this big, long tweet about how we love Oakland, but Vegas is going to be the thing for us. And I think we, as Raider Nation, can come together. And I think that's exactly what you're saying. I
agree. I mean, a $1.9 billion stadium in the heart of Las Vegas with all the casinos and the hotels. It's really a perfect marriage in that sense.
Okay, let's talk about another issue in terms of stadiums, because people, a lot of people in places like California are very opposed to the idea of giving money to billionaires to buy use public money to buy stadiums.
Sure.
Everybody's opposed to that. Obviously, in Vegas, they don't care. You know,
Right.
they see it as a tourism draw. They see it as it's going to help their bottom line.
Right.
But over the rest of the country, you know, as these stadiums continue to age, we're going to keep seeing this pop up. Is the public dollars for private enterprise like this going away?
Well, I think California has gotten a little bit smarter than maybe some of the other states in terms of the voters, because they've had a lot of stadiums that have been, you know, publicly funded, and you see what happened with the Chargers. I mean, essentially, the city of San Diego was paying for the Chargers to stay here. So I think voters in some places have gotten smarter. Now, Vegas is, again, an untapped market. So, of course, their politicians and their fans are going to want to see that. You saw that with the Golden Knights moving there with the NHL.
Right.
This is really just the start. The next, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
All right, let's talk about San Diego. Let's bring it back home. Are we going to see an NFL team come here?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
The planning stages, you already have a stadium in place. Again, they're missing that $750 million that you were talking about. That can easily be had with a naming rights deal or something like that, whether that's Bank of America or somebody else. They'll come up with the money. San Diego's just too far off. But I do think there's going to be an MLS franchise. And I think the FS investors who are around, or advisors, I think we're going to see a deal come into place. I think it makes sense with the proximity to Mexico and the Mexican fans. I think that's probably what we're going to see.
So you think that San Diego is going to ultimately end up being the LA of the NFL, the way LA used to be, the threatening market? Like, I'm not getting a new stadium in Jacksonville, so I'm going to move my team to San Diego, but they never really, like, we're just the leverage point. Is that what you see us being?
Maybe, but I think, honestly, San Diegans are probably okay with that. San Diego is a terrific place to live. You know, I think ultimately when the Chargers decided to leave, San Diegans were like, okay, see you later. We still have the beaches, we still have the weather, we still have the great, you know, people, restaurants. So, but maybe it uses as a leverage. But I think San Diegans have gotten smarter, and maybe hopefully the politicians do as well.
All right. Jeremy, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.